Hello, it's a beautiful day here, and I'm in sort of deep thoughts today, and so wanted to hop on here and just capture for you what I'm thinking about, and hoping that maybe you'll be able to take something from it and apply it to your life somehow. So I was thinking today about clutter. And I've recorded before on clutter. I teach a lot on clutter with my clients, and just part of my own life experience is how to reduce the amount of clutter that we have in our house, and why that's important. There's always a really great question to ask. The question, why is that important, or what's important about that? And part of it for me is a reduction in clutter allows me to be clear in my space up here. So I'm continually trying to look at ways to remove clutter, prevent clutter from coming back. And right now I'm talking about physical clutter. So in our house and in our personal space. So maybe in your office, do you have clutter? And I was having this reflection because I had this experience this week where we were actually home 2 nights in a row from after school, no after school activities, which is a huge rarity for us. Huge rarity. And Thursday morning, as I'm looking at my kitchen, I'm thinking to myself, is this what being home 2 days in a row does? Like, my kitchen is clean. There's not clutter. My table doesn't have anything but what it's supposed to have on it. And that's unusual because we're just like probably many of you, where we come and go a lot. And so in the coming and going, things just get set down and we put them aside to deal with later. And so that later might be Saturday when you have some free time, or Sunday, or when you finally can't take it anymore, the stuff is in your space. You're just like, I've just got to take some time to clear this out. So whatever that is for you, I know all of those scenarios are real for me. And it really got me to thinking, though, today about, number one, the peace I felt on Thursday morning, that things were sort of organized and put where they were supposed to be. The counter was clean, the table was clean, and all of that feels really good. It feels really good. But then I also am thinking today about the emotional component of this. And here's where I want to make the connection for you is we have physical clutter, but we also have mental and emotional clutter. And the mental and emotional clutter is most of the time what prevents us from stepping into the life that we desire. That is definitely the case for me. It has been, and even as I'm more aware now than I've ever been in my life, there are still things that trip me up. There's still mental and emotional clutter that get in the way of me stepping into the next level, whatever that might be. And so sometimes that's tough decisions we have to make, relationships we have to end. But a lot of times what we do with emotional clutter is we kind of do what we do with physical clutter. We set it aside to deal with later. And the problem with that is, so just like I painted the scenario about when the clutter builds up, and so finally you either have to take a Saturday, or you have to take a day or half of day, or you have to set aside time because you just can't take it anymore. Emotional clutter is the same thing. But the problem is emotional clutter causes us to be angry. And it causes us to react in ways that we actually don't want to react. It causes us to lash out at the people that we love because we get agitated, because we have this emotional stuffing down. So all these our emotions are like boiling up and we're trying to push them back down. And so that's the clutter, right? How do we prevent that from happening? How do we stop the blow-ups? And I want you to know you stop the blow-up by allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel. Whatever the emotion is that you're experiencing, you gotta just let yourself feel it. It's totally okay. It's totally okay. And it's safe. And oftentimes the reason we don't let ourselves feel it is because we don't think it feels safe. Something has taught us that it's not safe to be emotional about whatever it is. So, one of the things I've said is that as a society, we've been taught that it's okay to cry at a funeral, but that there are other times it's unacceptable to cry. And this is especially true for men, that it's unacceptable to cry. You're not a man if you cry. And the reality is whether you're male or female, crying is just an emotion. But it's an emotion you need to let out. And I'm not talking just about crying. I think we initially think that emotions, when we're emotional, it means that we're crying. And that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes our emotions are just causing us to feel funky. We don't feel like ourselves. And those are some emotions. And a lot of times we make that feeling make us wrong, or that there's something wrong with us for feeling off or not like myself. So there must be something wrong with me. And so I want to encourage you today to step into allowing yourself to feel and removing the clutter. So there is something, there is a connection to the emotional and the physical clutter. When you can remove things from your physical space, the emotional healing can also take place if you make the space for it and you take the time to address it. And so today, I want to ask you to do that. And ask yourself the question, what are the emotions you need to address? Where do you need to let go of emotional clutter? Mental clutter, where do you need to let go of that? That's a whole other topic for another time, mental clutter. But it's totally possible. If you need help with that, I'm here for you, and you can reach out to me on my website or through an email, or just by leaving a comment on this video. So I hope that you have an amazing day. I hope you take this to heart, and I hope that you actually do something about the clutter that you're keeping in your space, because life is beautiful without it. And you can have that peace that I experienced this week, and you can have it anytime you want. Bye for now.